Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibeda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shanti Mantram Om Vangme Manasi Pratishtita Mano Me Vachi Pratishtitam Aviravirmayedi Vedasya Ma'anistaha Shrutam Me Ma Prahasihi Anenadhitena Horatran Santatami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So to just recap in a quick way, Aitareya Upanishad, the only Upanishad in the Rig Veda which Shankaracharya has commented upon, it starts with Atma va idam eka eva agre asit. That Atma alone in the beginning, it was the only one which was existed. Nanyak Kinjana Mishad. There was no movement, or there was not even a batting of the eyelid or type of even for a fraction of a second there was any movement, because it was all that which was existing. Other than that, there was nothing else. Sa ikshata lokanusraja iti. Sa means here the Atma. Ikshata means willed, desired, or projected, or imagined, or sankalpa. Lokan nusraja iti. Let loka be created, like that he imagined or projected. Loka means world of experiences. So that is the way in which this Upanishad started. Sa iman lokan asraja. Then he created this world. And then the list of creations is listed out in the first chapter. And the first chapter, this first three sections are there in the first chapter. And in all this thing, it was on creation. And in the creation, from the beginning, what are the worlds it has been created, that is Adi Daivikam, then Adhyatma, as what is the individual thing, and the third one is Adi Bhautikam, the objects for the world, for the experiences. So the creation is the field of experience, the experiencer, and the objects of experience. That is the way in which it has been listed out in the first chapter as 1, 2, and 3 sections. Then in the second chapter, we saw that it mentioned about the human birth. And before human birth, there was a discussion between Shankaracharya and his disciple on what is the way he thought that the disciple or the Purva Pakshi thought that there are three Atmas. So after creation, he divided himself into three. That is Jivatma, Ishvara, and Brahman. That is the way he thought that. Prayatmana. So Shankaracharya asked, how did you arrive at that? So he said it is by inference. So how did you infer? So then there is this dialogue between them, which I don't want to repeat again, where Shankaracharya took the Purvapakshin or the disciple through the steps of inference cannot happen because the Atma should be separate for inferring. Because for inference, there should be something which is called a upama or udaharanam or an example. Like wherever fire is there, smoke is seen. So that is an example which is used later to see the smoke coming from a hill far away. Anybody can infer, since smoke is coming from the hill, there must be fire in that place where the smoke is coming from. That is how the inference is arrived at. So he asked, how did you arrive at? So Atma, he said it is from inference. So then he asked, how did you infer? That is the place where he found it, that his inference is that he is seeing the seer, the thinker, the eater, like that. The experiencer is different and the experienced objects are different, and therefore, and Atma who knows this is different. So he is seeing that experiencer and Atma as separate. That is where Shankaracharya further narrows down that how can there be two separate, the experiencer separate and the Atma separate. There is this part of it, what is there is a Nitya, there is a permanent experiencer and there is a transient experiencer. And then it was brought down that the transient experiencer, which the Purvapakshi thought as Atma, Jivatma, is nothing but the mind. Because the mind is the one which is receiving the inputs from the sense organs, and the mind is the one which is getting the feeling. But then Acharya says that the mind cannot do for two functions at the same time. When it is seeing, it cannot hear. When it is hearing, it cannot think like that. And when it is remembering, it cannot see or think, because that is the way in which the mind is functioning. So he cannot be a knower of these things, because simultaneously we are experiencing multiple things from different sense organs, and these are all coming to the mind. So mind cannot experience these things simultaneously, and that nature of it being, when eye is seeing, ears are not hearing, but the moment it shifts to the ear and hearing, the eyes are not seeing. So they are transient in nature. So the transient one is not the real knower. The real knower is the Atma. Then the question came about the dispute between the confusing statements from the Upanishad. The same Upanishad says that he is thinker, he is not a thinker, he is a seer, he is not a seer. How are these things being, how will you reconcile all those things? So, for which Acharya said that you have to take the Vivakshidhartham and Pratiyamanartham, that is intended meaning and the apparent meaning. So the difference is, if it is not known, the confusion can exist for anybody who is listening to that without the proper guidance from a guru. So we have to go by the intended meaning, then only we will know the meaning. This is what exactly happening with lot of philosophers who have been commenting upon the Upanishad. They have gone by the apparent meaning as the reality, and they have not been able to arrive at the intended meaning, because Purvapara Bandham, that is, when it is being discussed, what is being told in the beginning should be kept in mind when it is being discussed, even through the discussions when it is happening at a later time. This is exactly what happens when, the mantras are read in isolation from the Upanishads, which we will come to know. We will come to that later, not in this Upanishad, but we will see much more the utility of that in the Aitareya Upanishad, which will be the next Upanishad which I will be taking. So finally, it came to that this, when the Upanishad started, it said that Atma va idam eva eka agre asit. So that statement is the prime statement, and that is the truth. And then subsequent things are said to develop the story of creation. And why the story of the creation has been mentioned? The story of the creation has been mentioned for developing vairagya or detachment for enjoyments and desires of life. To ensure that this detachment is experienced or understood by those who are studying this Upanishad, the second chapter begins with the three type of birth which is happening to a human being in one life. His first life is in the form of an embryo in the womb of the mother, with the self of the father through the semen entering the mother's egg and forming the embryo. That is the first birth. Since it is part and parcel of the self, the mother's body doesn't throw out, even though it is a foreign object inside the body, in her body. She nurtures it for 9 months, and then when the baby is born, that is the second birth. This is a physical birth of the baby, even though the first birth is as the embryo. This is why we have to understand that our real birth, where do we take it as a beginning? The time we are born out of the womb of the mother, or in the womb as an embryo, which will be taken as saying. Astrology is different. We are not going to the astrology part of it. We will look into the philosophy part of it. So, even the womb, in the womb when the becomes the embryo part is being discussed by the third birth. The third birth is when the father becomes the old. He is seeing his son continuing the activities of what the desires he had, and he has started whatever the actions is being fulfilled by the son. So the father, with body incapable of doing things, exits the body and becomes a womb in excites embryo and as a womb in another birth. This is the third birth which has been mentioned in the second chapter. So that way there are total three births. Three birth in one life, as embryo, as a physical birth, and then re-entering the embryo as in another body, leaving the physical body in this life. So that way totally three births are considered by the Upanishads. And in one life, if you are going to have three births, how many lives we have spent in our lifetime, we have no count of it. Millions of Shatajanma Koti Suhridai Punyo Vina Labhyate. Shankaracharya himself says in the Viveka Chudamani. Shatakoti means Koti is 100 million. Right. So Shata, yes, no 100 Koti is 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs is 10 million. No, 1 million. 1 million to 10 million. Right. So Shatakoti Janma Suhritai. So Suhritam means good deeds. In one lifetime, how many hours are we spending in good deeds? So if you want to get one lifetime full of good deeds, how many lives are required? Like that, we need Shatajanma Kodi, Shatakoti Janma. This then only we will get a human birth. That is what the Shankaracharya says in the Viveka Chudamani. So this is the type of birth which is being referred to in the second chapter beginning. To continue this, how that can be ended starts from the fifth mantra and the sixth mantra, giving an example of one rishi called Vamadeva. Before going to the mantra, a bit of thing about Vamadeva is supposed to have spoken from the womb of the mother about his realization. And he says that millions of life I have gone through, which were like iron cage for a falcon to be entrapped. And that falcon, when it breaks the iron cage, what feeling will that falcon will have is the feeling I am getting now by having the knowledge of Atmajnana even while in the womb. So here we have got two things. One is, it is Atmajnana or the knowledge of the self, which is liberated him from the feeling that he is caged or going through birth and death again and again. And second thing is, from speaking from the womb itself, shows that the person need not be in any particular stage of life to have the Atmajnana. Even a jnana or the knowledge acquired in the previous life can fructify even before you take your physical birth in the next life. That is what is the example of Vamadeva being shown here in this particular. There are only two mantras about Vamadeva in the whole Upanishad. So we will go that Taduktam Rishina. That is how it starts. The Rishi spoke, thus spoke. What is the Rishi spoke? Garbenusan anu esham avedam aham devanam janimani vishwa shatam ma puraha ayashi arkashan adas shenaha javasa nidrayam iti. That is, garbe, in the womb. Nu means at once or indeed. Son, while existing in the garbha. So, one indeed at the time of being in the womb himself. Anu esham. Along with this, what is this? Avedam, I perceived or noticed or observed. Aham avedam. I knew or I noticed or I observed. Devanam, the deities. Janimani, the births of these deities. Vishwa means the whole world or all-pervading. Shatam ma, 100 myself. That means not only I knew the births of the deities, means here the deities are being referred to are the Adhisthana Devata for the Indriyas of each birth. For the eyes there is a Devata, for the ears there is a Devata. Not only that Devata's birth and how they became the Adhisthana Devata for the Indriyas, for the sense organs, that all those things I knew it. How did he know? That we'll come to that later. So Devanam Janimani Vishwa Shatam Ma Puraha. In the cities, I mean Pura here means bodies. Ayasi means iron Arkashan means cage or protected environment. In the others means in the lower world. Senaha means the falcon or an eagle. Javasa Niradhyam iti. Niradhyam iti. So how did the falcon, which was in the lower regions, means in the earlier birth. Here the lower region is indicating to the earlier birth before he acquired the knowledge. That he considered himself as the lower birth or the lower region, where he was caged like in an iron cage, or like a falcon or an eagle or a strong bird. The word the falcon or the say usage is to show that it's a very strong bird. You know, a falcon or an eagle can lift even a baby goat or a deer from as a prey. So the strength in its wings is so high that it can lift a living baby goat or a baby deer for its prey. So that is the strength of a falcon. So even with the strength, we lived hundreds of years in the lower regions without knowing what is the reality. And that is when at the moment I knew about the devas and the birth about the birth, the secret about the births, when I knew about it, it could flew away. I could fly like a falcon breaking this iron cage. Garbe eva etat shayanaha Vamadeva evam vacha. The Vamadeva is still that in the garbe, in the womb itself, etat, this Shayanaha Vamadeva, while lying in the womb itself, Vamadeva told about this. That is his statement of his realization, what he made the statement when he made that statement that I knew about the devas, the hundreds of devatas, and that hundreds of life of his past life, the secret of the life, which he thought is that hundreds of life I one had. This is what is being referred here as the knowledge of Vamadeva. Sa evam vidwan. Now the Vamadeva is the vidwan. Asmat sharira, from this sharira Vedat. So Sharira means the body. Vedat means the Vidyate, coming from the word Bidhatu, which is meant to break away from the Sharira, or from the attachment to the body, or from the clutch of the physical body. Body means here all the bodies. Panchakosha, all the Panchakoshas. Urdhva Ukramya, for rising above the body levels. Utkramya, Asmin, Amunshin, in that Sarve Loka, Swarge Loke, Sarvan Kaman Aptva, Amrita Samabhavat. Swarge Loke Samavan Kaman Aptva. So having Aptva means reached or having obtained or having fulfilled. Sarvan Kaman, all the wishes and desires. Because in the Upanishads it says, Apta Kamasya Kaspriha. What can be a desire for Atma Kama or Apta Kama. One who has a desire for Atma, for him, what is there left to be fulfilled? Because his fulfillment is complete with Atma, one by knowing Atma. So this is the Samabhavat means is attained or came together or assembled. So Samabhavat, twice it is being told in the Upanishad. So here you will find that in the Shankaracharya's Bhashyam, he says, Sa Vamadeva Rishi Yadoktam Atmanam Evam Vidwan. That is the Vidwan word which he started, that Atmanam Evam Vidwan. Which way? Asmat Sharira Vedat Sharirasya Avidya Parikalpitasya. So Avidya Parikalpitasya Sharirasya. So this Sharira or this body is a imagination. Parikalpita means imagination or kalpana. From the avidya, cause is avidya. Avidyaya parikalpitasya sharirasya asmat sharira vedat. So from the sharira veda, from that, it is separate from the sharira. Ayasavat nirbhidyasya. The one which is breaking away from the iron chain or the iron cage. Janana maranadyena anekan artha shata vishishta sharira prabandhasya. So he is saying that vishishta sharira avishta sharira prabandhasya. There are a lot of things with which the sharira is being nurtured and being maintained during each life. And that is anartha, because anartha means which is futile. Because they are not, this is all for the body, and we are not the body. And for maintaining the body is all the activity in the life. From the time from the womb till the time we die, those days it is the Vedas and the Kriyas for the Surga Kama, Putra Kama, all those things. Everything is based on desire. So even today, all our activities is based on desires. So Janana Marana Adi Anekartha. So Janana Marana Adi. From birth and death, from the time to birth to the time of death, age, all the things which we are doing is anartha, is futile things, because we are sharira prabandhasya. We are only doing it for maintaining the sharira. And that, what is that sharira? Sharira is the cage, which is referred by Vamadeva in the mantra. This hundreds of life I was encapsulated or as remained as a bonded person in the body as a cage which is iron, as if I cannot break it. That is the feeling which I had. Paramatma Jnana Amrita Upayoga Janita Vidya Krita Bhedat. Now, this one word is a single word. Paramatma Jnana Amrita Upayogaja Upayoga Janita Virya Krita Vedat. So, Virya Krita Vedam. So, there is a strength with which I could break out from the Sharira. And how did how did that Virya come from? Paramatma Jnana Amrita Upayoga. That knowledge about the Paramatma and Tasya Jnanam, Paramatma Jnanam, Tasya Tadeva Amritam, so Paramatma Jnana Amritam. So Paramatma Jnanam Eva Amritam. That is the immortality. So from the Sharira which is from birth and death, I became immortal by knowing the Paramatma Jnana, about the Paramatma or Aham, the Atma and Paramartha being the one. That is the virya or the strength which gave me the freedom from the bondage which I was going through millions of life, and again coming back again to the three birth in each life. Sharira Utpatti Bija Avidyadi Nimitta Upamarda Hato Sharira Vinasha Adi Ityartha. So all these things, what is the meaning? Meaning is that Sharira Utpatti Bija Avidyadi Nimittam. So Amidyadi Nimittam is Avidya is the Nimittam for the Bijam, for the seed, which thought the Sharira Utpatti, for the Utpatti of the Sharira, for the cause of the body. So all these thing is due to avidya. For the ignorant, due to I am the physical body. And the devas along with me are also getting born. Hundreds of devas are also getting born along with me, because for every birth of mine there is an Adhisthana Devata for my eyes, for the ears, for then all devatas are there. Along with me they are also born. So not only I am born, the devatas also getting born. All these things are due to my avidya. And that avidya, I am also getting born again and again. And from that, I could break out only because of the knowledge of Paramatma, Jnana. And which is the Amrita. Amrita means immortality. This is the reason with which Vamadeva could break out even while he was in the womb. That because he heard this at the Sharira Tyaga Vasare, when the body being abandoned by us, even in the last minute, if we get the knowledge, that is good enough for us to become the jnani in the birth again, as per this story of the creation. Urdhvam Paramatma Bhudaha San Adaha Ubhavat Samsarat Utkramya Jnana Avidyadi Mala Sarvatma Bhavam Apannaha San Amumshin Yatokta Ajare Amare Amrte Abhaye Sarvatne Apurve Apare Anantare Abahye Prajnanamrtaikarase Swarge Loke Swasmin Atmani Swe Swarupe Amrtaha Samabhavat. So what happens when you had Urdhvam means the utmost Paramatma Bhudaha San. The moment you become Paramatma Bhudaha means we become Paramatma when Atma Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. So Paramatma Jnanam makes you Paramatma. So that is the Paramatma Bhudaha. So there is no difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. Atha Ubhava Samsarat. So from the lower samsara or the mundane life, Utkramya, having grown out of it due to the knowledge, Jnana Avidyadi Mala Sarvatma Bhavam Apanna. Jnana Avad Jnana Jnanavidauti Talamala Sarvatma Bhavam Apanna. So here the Sarvatma Bhavam Apanna. So after having achieved the Sarvatma Bhava. See, that is another aspect of the knowledge of Paramatma. Not only does the knowledge of Paramatma, that also takes you to the first statement of Atmava Idameva Agra Asid, that makes you Sarvatma. That you are the Atma of everything, which is of the Devatas, hundreds of Devatas which are there, which is Apannaha means having reached the sun. Amushmin yatote, Amushmin means in this. Sorgaloke is that in the mantra. So what type of Sorgaloka is referred? The Sorgaloka is referred here as Ajare, Amrire, Amrute, Abhye, Sarvatnye, Apurve, Anapare, Anandare, Abahye. Pratnyana Amrita Ekarase, Sorge Loke. So Sorgaloka is now being said, Pratnyana Amrita Ekarasam. The Pratnyana Amritam is Ekarasam. Amritam is immortality is in one. Ekarasam means is of one essence. Amrita is immortality is of one essence, and which is that Pratnyana, which will come in the next two mantras also. In the next Tritiya Adhyaya it will come. Pratnyana means here Atma or consciousness. And what type of that is where the Sorgaloka? Ajara means without Jara. Jara means old age. Amara means without death. Amrita means without again death. Mritam means to die. Amare means without death again. Abhaye means without any fear, means absolute freedom. When you have freedom, you don't have fear. Sarvatnya, that comes from Sarvatnya, because you know you become the Sarvatnya, the knower of everything. Apurve Anavare, there is no beginning, no end. There is nothing before you, nothing after you, because you are all alone, yourself. Anandare Abahye, neither there is inside, there is no outside. This is the nature of Sorgaloka. Swasmin Atmani, in one's own Atma, when you are abiding in yourself, this is the feeling you are having. You are feeling that you are Ajara, you are Amara, you are Amrita, you are Abhaya, you are Sarvatnya, Apurva Anapara. There is no beginning, no end. Anandare Abhaya, no inside, no outside. Pratnyana Amrita Ekarasam, that the one essence of immortality by knowing the consciousness which is our nature, which is the Sorgaloke, Asmin Atmani, Swasmin Atmani, Swarupe, in the Swarupa of our Swarupa, Amritaha Samabhavat, one becomes immortal, Samavurtava, Samabhavat. This is how the Vamadeva's experience is being explained by Shankaracharya in the Bhashya. Now, that is all what is mentioned about Vamadeva and but this example of Vamadeva is a very, very well talked Upanishad example of Jivan Mukta, also of from the womb itself he has come as a Jivan Mukta. It is not that he went to a guru and then studied and became a Jivan Mukta, or he born as a Jivan Mukta. After birth he became a Jivan Mukta. No, you can become Jivan Mukta anytime. All you need is the knowledge, which he says that he got it, and he freed himself from hundreds of births, which otherwise due to desire, he was taking again and again. Because every birth which we are taking is due to a desire, a unfulfilled desire to enjoy a gross world enjoyment. We are pushed into a body for enjoyment. While enjoying, we develop further desires, and this cycle of birth and death continues again and again. This has to be broken only one who gets fed up with that what you call the detachment or vairagya or the renunciation, feeling of, enough is enough, that only will push one person to look for the solution, and such a person will look for the solution of Atmatjnana or Paramatmajnana. Now, in the beginning of the third Adhyaya, Brahma Vidya Sadhana Krita Sarvatma Bhava Phalam Avaptim Vamadevadi Acharya Paramparaya Paramparya Shrutyavabodhatmanam Brahma Parishad Atyanda Prasiddham Ubalambamana Mumukshavaha Brahmanaha Aduna Atana Brahma Jitnyasavaha Anityat Sadhya Sadhana Lakshanat Samsarat Ajiva Bhava Avidya Vivrutsavaha Vicharayandaha Anyonyam Pruchanti Katam. Now, here, before the third chapter starts, there is a question: how? How did he, Vamadeva, attain the Atma Vidya? Now, the third chapter is entirely for how the Atma Vidya has to be achieved. So, Brahma Vidya Sadhana Krit Sarvatma Bhava Phalavaptim. That is the Phalavapti. That is the result of the what is called Brahma Vidya Sadhana Krita Sarvatma Bhava. We knew that the Sarvatma Bhava was achieved by Vamadeva. And how is the Sarvatma Bhava come? Brahma Vidya Sadhana Krita. Brahma Vidya is the sadhana. Brahma Vidya itself is the sadhana. And having done that Krita, Sarvatma Bhava Phalam. One achieves the Sarvatma Bhava Phalam. Vamadevadi Acharya Paramparaya. Vamadevadi means starting with Vamadeva, there are many rishis who have achieved the Sarvatma Bhava by knowing this Brahma Vidya. Paramparya Shrutyavabodhatmanam. Paramparya, from the Parampara means from the tradition, from the Shruti and Atmanam, Brahmavit Parishadya Atyanta Prasiddham. The Brahmavit, how to become Brahmavit? It is Prasiddha. Ubalambamana Mumukshavaha. Those who are Mumukshus, who are Upalambamana, means who are, depending upon knowing this Brahma Vidya. Brahmanaha, this Brahmatjnanis, or those who are following the Brahmatjnana. Adunadana, here and now itself. Brahma Jitnyasavaha, the one who have the desire to know Brahma. Anityat Sadhya Sadhana Lakshanat Samsarat. Anitya Rupi means impermanent. Sadhya Sadhana Lakshana. It is a cause and effect. Is the identification of samsara. Samsarat. Sadhya Sadhana Lakshanat Samsarat. So samsara Lakshana is that. What is that? Sadhya Sadhana Lakshana. Sadhya means sadhana. To desire, achieve something through the desires and achieving that. Phalam. And they are all anitya in nature. Their nature is impermanent. Ajiva Bhava Avidya Avivrudastaha Vicharayanta. So, till the end of life, these Brahmanas who wanted to know everything, they were doing this. They are the one who are asking for Brahma Jitnyasava. They are the one who are asking this question. What is the question? Anyonyam Prichandi. They are all Brahmanas. They are all studying the Upanishads or from the Guru and attend them. So they are all the Brahma Jijnasavaha. They asked each other, how did Vamadevadi Acharyas Brahmavid became Brahmavid, and how did that? So the first mantra is Koyam Atmeti Vayam Upasmahe Katarasa Atma Yena va Pashyati Yena va Shrunoti Yena va Gandhan Jigrati Yena va Vacham Vyakaroti Yena va Sadhu cha Asadu cha Vijanati. So Koyam Atmeti, this Atma, what is this Atma? Vayam upasmahe, how, whom we should we, we meditate upon. Upasmahe here means, sir, here upasana is not the meditation, but mananam, what it is being read. Katara, how many are there, the Atma? There is sa Atma, yenava pashyati, there is one Atma which is seen, being seen, yenava shrunodi, there is another Atma which is listening, Yenava Gandhan Jigrati, there is another Atma which is smelling the smells, different smells. Yenava Vacham Vekaroti, there is another Atma which is speaking and the words. Yenava Sadhu cha Asadu, both the taste, good taste and the bad taste. Cha Vijanati, one who knows the good taste messaging. How many type of Atmas are there? Whom should we should be doing the mananam on? Koyam Atma, which is this Atma we should be doing this? This is the question of the Brahma Jijnasavaha Brahmana who wanted to know the Brahma Vidya Satana Krita Swatma Bhavam Katam Bhavati. How do we attain this Brahma Sarvatma Bhava which the Vamadeva has achieved and he proclaimed in the Rishina Uktam. See, this is what this thing. The Bhashya of this is very long, and then the answer is in the 3 mantras which are following that, which we will do it in the Friday's session. So we will go through the question again in the next class beginning and continue with the Bhashya and the following mantras with the Bhashyas in the Friday's class. So I'll stop here. Om Vangme manasi pratishthita मनोमे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेदि वेदस्य म आणीस्तः श्रुतम् मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन होरात्रान् सन्दतामि ऋतम् वदिष्यामि सत्यम् वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.